And we are getting a full lap here around Spa-Francorchamps, so let's take a look at that weather one more time. The weather coming in is going to be 24 degrees ambient and 30 degrees trackside temperature. Gentle 1.2 meters per second degrees, warm and partly cloudy skies with light winds, stable conditions overall, but we're seeing some rain come in and shake up the drivers. After that, let's look at the leaderboard standings. Justin Cutler leads with 78 points over Kevin Lee with 76 points. Ryan Nash in third for the BMW. 3 different manufacturers into that top 3 and separated by just 10 points overall. Followed by that, Nate Roberts tied with Ryan Nash. And then Corey McNulty with 58 points driving the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. This is, of course, after 2 drop rounds and round 4 of the championship already. Looking at the GTD AM category, it'll be Leo Mora, our fearless leader, with 78 points in P1. Balwea Isho with 77 points in P2. Laszlo Tang in third place with 71 points. John Nickelford with 61 points in fourth. And Alan Pina in fifth place with 60 points. We've got 5 different manufacturers into the top 5 of the GTD amateur category. That brings us back to Speaker's Corner and the entrance of Puan now. Drivers settling in their hot lap fashion now. One mandatory pit stop for all the drivers. Minimum 1 liter of fuel requirement is the pit stop allocation here tonight. That is all that you need to do for a 45-minute race here. Coming out of Corpe, Paul Ferrer. Slowly but surely, the 221 having a little bit of an excursion there onto the grass. And again onto the grass for that 221 car. We didn't see them have a great running at Mount Panorama. Perhaps that's a technique that I'm not too familiar with for the driver. Now, don't get too excited, folks. We won't get started until we come out of La Source, actually, and down the main straightaway. The drivers will get formed up 2 by 2 as we get to La Source. On the front of the field as we get ready to take the green flag. Nate Roberts on that inside line, on the outside line for turn 2 here.
Green light, show them
Green, green, green. It looks like Nate Roberts got jumped the gun by Justin Cutler headed towards turn 2, and now single file line for Nate Roberts, and he's getting hunted down by Ryan Nash and Kevin Lee in the background. Kevin Lee falling back a little bit to that Ryan Nash Bald Eagle Motorsports car. Yes, it is the 787. The Flying Eagle goes high, soaring into the sky. As we approach turn 5, will the door open up just a little bit there? I don't think so. It's looking like a pretty clean start during these greasy conditions for all these drivers. Leo Mora falls back a couple of positions, now under threat from Isho behind by 9/10 of a second, and there goes Isho tumbling down the order. Let's see if we can get an instant recap of what happened here. Isho having a little bit of a wiggle now, and then just perhaps lost it there on the exit. Yes, he does. And then just tumbles and falls down the order, and that'll be his race from the back of the pack going forward. Andre Junior Morani loses a position to John Nickelford, and Nickelford escapes by about 7/10 of a second right now. Looking at Philippe Cossette up the inside line at Benjamin Hyun. No, excuse me, that's not Benjamin Hyun in front of him. Or is it? That is Benjamin Hyun, excuse me, the Pfaff Motorsport driver. I was getting Hyun mixed up with Wilson Ho. I apologize. But no, completely different drivers. And Justin Cutler actually with already a 4.5 second gap over Nate Roberts already. Holy Toledo. And the gaps come down pretty steadily. There's some side-by-side action between the 787 and Ryan Nash's car, the number 6. Yes, it is side-by-side action. That explains why the gap has gotten so big, is because these two guys are battling it out for best of the rest. Second place further back now. 787 coming to the inside line of turn 1, able to get the position done over that number 6 car, and it looks like he's doing a pretty good job of handling that one with some tact and diligence. Leo Mora battling it out with Corey McNulty. That'll be the 74 car as they approach Eau Rouge, and it'll be nose to tail right now. Leo Mora leading the charge, but for how much longer will that last? Because the 74 has definitely got the overspeed. Benjamin Hyun has lost it there. The number 38 now behind Corey McNulty and Leo Mora. And here's a gaggle of cars coming out of Raidillon. Now down the Kemmel Straight we go, and in towards the next chicane of Lacombe. And it'll be the 88 of Dominic Schumont, who's made up a whole heap of positions off the start of this one. Now battling it out with David Johnson, no longer battling it with David Johnson. And that'll be all she wrote for the cars behind him. Awea Isho coming down pit road to get the damage repaired that he incurred quickly after a lap 5 incident coming out of the Kemmel Straight. Cossette trying to battle it out with Kevin Lee. The number 14 up that inside line was Cossette, unable to keep it between the mayo and the mustard there. Almost slipped out wide and chopped the nose off of Kevin Lee with an amazing defense around the outside. He was holding on to P4 now. Started up further up the order. Kevin Lee started in P3, now down one position overall. Nate Roberts started in P1, now sitting in P3. Ryan Nash up 2 positions, started in 4th place, now up in the 2nd. Justin Cutler started in 2nd, now up to 1st place. Here comes Philippe Cossette, now side by side. It looks like he's going to be the move coming into Blanchimont. They both got a heap of overspeed over Nate Roberts. And there's Justin Cutler driving the Ready for Duty racing car. your leader by about 7 seconds right now. Kevin Lee and Nate Roberts door banging each other coming through La Source. Up the hill through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, it seems like it's all fair and loving war. Philippe Cossette may have cupped the track there, but he's gonna have the overspeed coming into turn 5. Corey Minoldi and Dominic Chumont battling it out through Lacombs. Minoldi loses the position to Dominic Chumont. He's worked his way from the back of the field right now. It looks like Dominic Chumont started in P21, now has gained 14 positions in just a few laps now. Nick Crazzoli getting involved in an incident. It looks like by himself for the 930. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Crazzoli. Oh, that was all by his lonesome. Oh no! Then he took out Nilton Diaz de Silva, who was minding his own business, the innocent bystander there. And now Nick Crazzoli for GP Motorsports is going to have to teleport back to pit lanes, I would imagine. Kevin Lee and Philippe Cossette looks like they're going to battle it out right now as we come out of Corporate Paul Ferrer and head towards turn 16. And then now in towards Blanchimont. Philippe Cossette has the position done right now, and Kevin Lee falling back just a little bit there. And will he be able to close down the gap during the braking zone? I don't think so, not on this occasion. Lots of penalties being handed out now. Kevin Lee coming down pit road. Rory Buchanan getting slapped with a stop-go 30. Johnny Nickelford hit with a 5-second time penalty. Wilson Ho hit with a 5-second time penalty as well. Battle between Wilson Ho and BK. There goes Dominic Chumont. I think he ran into the back of Laszlo Toth there, the 188. Let's give an incident review and see exactly how that incident went down. Do it from on board. Chumont goes to the inside line and just gives him a little taparoo there. And Dominic Chumont waits up to allow Laszlo Toth to spin his wheels back up and get turning in the right direction. This is Philippe Cossette chasing down Nate Roberts out in front. Leo Mora actually in the mix as well now. He's chasing down Philippe Cossette for 5th place overall. But doesn't pounce on the opportunity. The closing door, the vortex of doom, as some sim racing drivers like to call it. The closing the door action there was getting a little too narrow for Philippe Cossette to try to punch his way through on Nate Roberts, but here comes Leo Mora now trying to pounce on Philippe. Will he be able to get a move done? I don't think so, not through the bus stop chicane at least, because he knows that this isn't his battle to really be in. His best opportunity will be to just sit back and watch them battle it out, and hopefully he doesn't lose too much time sitting behind them. There goes Philippe Cossette to the inside line, and Leo Mora is trying to get a switchback engaged coming through La Source. Now he's not fully alongside Philippe Cosset. He won't be able to get an opportunity done and dusted through Eau Rouge. We will follow in single file line through Raidillon, and it looks like a little bit of a slowdown there for Cosset. And Leo Mora will get exactly what he was hoping for, as Cosset did cut the course there and trying to give a little bit of that time gain back to avoid getting another track cut penalty. Dominic Chimon hit with a 5-second penalty as well, presumably for incident responsibility. There goes Nate Roberts a little bit off and wide at Bruxelles, and he's going to lose 2 positions for 1. And Nate Roberts loses 2 positions there to Philippe Cosset and Leo Mora. Leo now actually into the top 3. Oh no! And there goes Cosset with a big off for the 218. Let's see if we can get a quick 10-second recap and see what happened there. Just a slide on the entrance to Pouhon. Cuts his way across the grass. Thank God he does not collect Nate Roberts in all of that, but does a good job narrowly avoiding disaster. Johnson chasing down Wilson Ho, the 221 and the 888 battling it out. That'll be the Bald Eagle Motorsports driver and the 888 of Wilson Ho. That should be the 6 Sigma Racing car. And Wilson Ho very quickly expands the gap to 1.6 seconds. Philippe Cosset battling it out with Nate Roberts. He's already caught up to the rear end. It was down to 0.2 at the entrance to the bus stop chicane. Now is expanded to around 0.5 of a second. And now it's closing back down again. The BMW quick to get on the throttle pedal here. And now trying to go for an alternate line around the outside of La Source. Where does he find Nate Roberts in that Ferrari on the inside line? Side by side we come out of La Source, but will it be enough for them to go completely side by side through Eau Rouge and Raidillon? Normally this ends in tears for fears, but they're managing to do it fairly well and not push each other off wide. Both drivers going quite a bit slowly through there because they both know that they needed to get onto the braking pedal up the hill if they wanted to make it out with their lives. The track is still greasy right now. 23 degrees, the ambient temperature, 25 degrees, the track temperature right now. Incident for Benjamin Hyun. It looks like the number 38 FAF GTD Pro car. Let's see if we can get an incident review of what happened here for the 38. Oh, just getting a little squirrely there coming out of Raidillon and tumbles, falls, turns into a Beyblade and will be stranded coming down the Kemmel Straight now. And Benjamin Hyun will probably need to come down pit road to take care of that damage that he's incurred. Laszlo Toth and David Johnson getting intimate onto the track right now. Board with Laszlo Toth as he works his way around the long way on the outside, switches up to the inside line for Campus. That'll be a position gain for Laszlo Toth. Leo Mora going a little bit slowly through sector 3, Blanchimont right now. He's able to keep his position, 3rd place overall. Looking on the rear wing of Laszlo Toth, coaching back to David Johnson, about 1 second separating the 2 drivers. Here's Ryan Nash drifting his way through Eau Rouge and up the hill through Raidillon. The 787 is 6.8 seconds back from Justin Cutler, who's managing to hold his lead by a considerable amount right now, and he hasn't had to defend from anybody this entire race. That'll be Justin Cutler, the number 35 Nissan GT-R driver. Kevin Lee, Corey McNulty, Isho, Buchanan, and Crazzoli all serving their mandatory pit stops so far. 29 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this race. Here comes Dominic Chimont chasing down Wilson Ho. 227.5 compared to a 229.0 on that previous lap for Dominic Chimont over Wilson Ho. But of course, Chimont and Ho both have 5-second penalties attached to the side of their names. Will they decide to work together, or will they decide to keep on working their way forward? Just about 28 minutes left in this amazing race that we have. The number 35 has caught up to the rear end of lap traffic right now. There's a driver off at turn 1. I can't tell who that was. It might have been Nate Roberts actually going off at turn 1. Was it? No. Roberts a little further back right now. Dominic Chimont, Wilson Ho still battling it out for launching. Nose to tail right now. Dominic Chimont slips out from the slipstream. Chimont about half a second faster that previous lap over Wilson Ho, but we all know catching is one thing. Passing is a completely different ballgame here, and finding an opportunity to get past an opponent like Wilson Ho will be a surefire challenge. Six Sigma Racing driver doing very well to defend very cleanly here for the most part. Though I cannot recall what that 5-second penalty could have been for. Obviously deemed worthy from the race stewards. Cheers for Leo, cheers for McNulty, cheers for Isho in chat from driver Arturis and JT Sykes. April, May, June back in action again. For the drivers, Leo Mora sitting in third place right now, and Leo doing a great job of keeping this one as clean as possible on this Spa-Francorchamps icy conditioned race. We have Corey McNulty next, number 74 in 15th position, and then Isho, unfortunately getting it wrong on lap 1 coming out of Malmedy. Lit up the rear end, spun himself around and into the barriers, had to take an early pit stop, but now he's got nowhere to go but up. He was sitting in second place of the GTD AM drivers, and now he has tumbled down the order of quite a bit of a ways for now. Here comes Dominic Schumann's opportunity down the Kemmel Straight. He's definitely carrying a lot more speed than Wilson Ho side by side, but unfortunately, he's on the outside line headed down in towards Lacombe's. Will he be able to hold on? No, but trying to go for a switchback, tucks it back in single file line, and the 888 pulls off a defensive masterclass on this occasion. Trying to cover off the inside line into Bruxelles. Seeing Dominic Schumann get a little impatient previously when involved with Laszlo Toth, who's being extremely patient on this time. Not wanting to incur another 5-second penalty. Doing a very good job of working his way from the back of the field all the way up into the top 5 right now. He can make that a top 4 if he gets past Wilson Ho. Of course, pit stop strategies could come into play here, and Wilson Ho could always gain that position back. Time will only tell. .23 remaining on the clock, folks. Only a handful of drivers or so still remaining to take their pit stops. These two drivers still having to take theirs. File line for these two coming towards La Source. That a little bit of a mistake there for the 888 coming through turn 1. It looks like the 888 of Dominic Schumann looks to the inside line, doesn't really want to go for anything just yet up the hill through Eau Rouge-Raidillon. Now it looks like a cover off there from the 888 of Wilson Ho, but he's left himself compromised to that inside line. Let's take a look at Dominic Schumann as we approach the next set of corners. It'll be down to Lacombe's, the inside line fully available for him to take, but doesn't go for the lick the stamp and send it opportunity that was actually what I consider available to him. He decides to relinquish that position and give it back over to Wilson Ho in that 888. Going down the hill into Bruxelles though, and he doesn't act on it again. It looks like he's being very protective of how he wants to take care of Wilson Ho in that 888. He's definitely got the lap times going in his favor. In the previous lap, 228.797 to a 228.505, so continuing to take out chunks of time from Wilson Ho and close down the gap lap after lap. Waiting for a mistake just like that, Wilson Ho with a tank slapper coming through Pouan. And that will be it. Let's get an incident review and a better camera angle of what happened here. Oh, and just on the brakes going into Pouan, almost runs into the back of Dominic Schumann, able to keep it out of the barriers. Wowza. And that was the mistake that Dominic Schumann was waiting for the entire time, forcing an error out of your opponent. And he was able to do so pretty well there. Laszlo Toth getting a position by his teammate Wilson Ho. So it looks like the 88 now leads over the 188, and then the 888 into 6th place. Leo Mora still holding on to 3rd place. Dominic up into the top 4 with a 5-second penalty to boot, though. He'll have to serve that during his mandatory pit stop. And surprisingly, for these tricky and challenging conditions that the drivers are facing right now, they're keeping it very clean on the racetrack. Only 4 penalties being dished out for the drivers. And thank you very much to our live steward, Daniel Tran, for doing all the live stewarding for the Pro-Am Racing Challenge. Of course, the split results, or the split championship, will result in wonderful prizes thanks to our sponsors, FAF for the Love of the Road and Six Sigma Racing. Under threat from Baoe Isho. Isho making the move done on his big brother BK. And there's David Johnson cutting the bus stop chicane a little bit there, driving the 221. Isho in number 220, getting it done. Looking back from Isho to BK, the number 9 FAF GTD Pro car. Looks like BK is trying to find puddles on the racetrack to cool down his tires right now. BK almost losing it into the wall coming through Malmedy, able to recover the vehicle down the hill towards Barcel's, but only lost a heap of time to Isho. Should be Nate Roberts in the number 6 behind, I believe. Oh no, and BK loses it, coming on the entrance of Stavlot. Incident review of what happened here. Just loses under the brakes in the slowest low-speed slides you've ever seen. Keeps it out of the barriers, though. Resumes his race in 12th position behind David Johnson and Isho. 220 leads over the 221. Oh, BK loses it again. Lights up the rear end of those tires coming out of La Source, and I fear the worst for his attempt right now to keep those tires cooled down. Definitely overheated them beyond repair right now. Of course, BK, having served his pit stop, will have to take another long .74 second drive down pit lane. That's just the transient time if he wants to get off of those sets of rubbers. Wilson Ho 1 second off of his teammate Laszlo Toth. The 188 leads over the 888. Ryan Nash managing to close down the gap from Justin Cutler just a little bit. 4.7 is the gap separating the two drivers. He's chopping out around 3/10 a lap over Justin Cutler. 27.3 compared to a 27.6 from Cutler in front. Leo Mora driving 230.7s right now. Dominic Chimont catching up with 229.2s. So about a second and a half a lap for Dominic Chimont's favor. 18 seconds is the gap separating the two of them, so I doubt that one's going to come down anytime soon. David Johnson getting past there. The car has seen some better days. Wheels not even tracking straight. David Johnson having a tough time with the Bald Eagle Motorsports team, leaving his mechanics to repair quite a bit with just 11 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Corey McNulty into the top 10, settles into 8th place on this lap 12 of this 45-minute race. Now just 5 drivers remaining have to take their pit stop. The 5 leaders that you see on the top left-hand leaderboard of your screen: Justin Cutler, Ryan Nash, Leo Mora, Dominic Chimont, and Laszlo Toth. Bonnet flapping a little bit there for Corey McNulty, but I don't think he's got too much damage to worry about. A little bit of that paint rubbed off on that front left side of his car. Nilton Diaz de Silva for the Omega Racing team stranded here at Stavla. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him. Again, under the braking zone, it looks okay, but gets out onto the greasy curbing, and that's going to be where he really finds the error in his ways, lighting up the left side tires and spinning himself around. Nilton Diaz de Silva decides to not take an additional pit stop. Keeps on racing for the last 8.5 minutes of this race. Justin Cutler, Ryan Nash, Leo Mora, Dominic Schmott, and Laszlo Toth setting the pace of the top 5. Looking at Laszlo Toth now. Last lap around was a 232.3. Not improving over Kevin Lee's time, 227.5. Presumably losing out a couple of positions, but will he lose out to Isho? Dominic Schumont still has to serve that 5-second penalty. He's got about 19 seconds between himself and Laszlo. Ooh, and there's someone off again. Is that Nilton Diaz de Silva? It is Nilton Diaz de Silva. And Diaz de Silva is going to go into pit lane now, obviously finding that that car is a little too unsafe to keep out during these conditions. 9 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on the clock by the end of this spiel. There goes Dominic Schumont passing David Johnson now. Number 8 of Andre Junior Morani stranded at the top of the hill at Raidillon, and 35 of Justin Cutler making his way past. Justin Cutler's fastest lap of the race was a 226.5. That must be the best valid lap time I've seen, because I see Ryan Nash with actually the fastest lap time on the race, a 2:26.052. There's the number 74 getting around what I believe is the number 9 of BK. Yes, that is BK that he just got past. And BK having a tough time getting through Poulan, and definitely it's got to be those tires that are failing him right now, as he's not decided to take tires throughout all of this. Justin Cutler and Ryan Nash decide to both come down pit lane on this lap. They'll leave Leo Mora, Dominic Schumont, and Laszlo Toth out there to do their worst. And that's how close it is between the two drivers going into the penultimate lap. Justin Cutler coming through now, and then in the background you can see Ryan Nash in the 787. We've seen Justin Cutler pulled out this tried and true strategy previously. Will Ryan Nash be able to pull off any sort of miracle pit stop to get around Justin Cutler's best strategy? Quick splash and dash there for Ryan Nash, and Justin Cutler rolling out at just about the same time. Is Ryan Nash in front of Justin Cutler? He is by 1.3 seconds. A 3.4 second stationary for Ryan Nash over Justin Cutler's 7.4 second stationary. This is going to shake things up for the Bald Eagle Motorsports team. Wow, oh wow. Leo Mora coming down pit lane now. Dominic Schumont in pit lane. Laszlo Toth coming down pit lane as well. Doing his diligence to get out of the way of the battling leaders here. Wilson Ho here in 7th place. He'll be able to get by his teammate Laszlo Toth, who's still down pit lane. Here's Kevin Lee of photography. Laszlo Toth actually on his way out of pit lane, so won't be able to get past his teammate. That 5-second penalty really hurting him quite a bit. Justin Cutler 1.3 away from Ryan Nash still.
Leaders on final lap now.
An extra bonus lap gets put onto the tallies. We will be on lap 19 completed of this 45-minute race. opportunity for Justin Cutler to catch back up to P1 and get a move done and dusted. Justin Cutler is going to leave it all out on the racing surface here tonight. What an amazing pit stop strategy out of Justin Cutler, the best Justin Cutler in the short pit stop strategies that he's pulled off all season long. Perhaps Ryan Nash had anticipated that after watching some of these streams back and has been able to find out what really was going on there. Corey McNulty getting chased down by Andre Jr. Morani, but nothing to be wrote about here, as they're separated by at least a couple of cars and classes of battle. Here's the 787 coming into the final chicane for the final time here tonight for the Pro-Am Racing Challenge here at Spa under these greasy conditions. And it is 6:50 p.m. and the leader Ryan Nash finishes the race. Justin Cutler in P2, about 43 seconds back. That's only because he decided to take a set of tires. It'll be Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee to cross the line in third place. Would have been just 15 seconds off the grid from Justin Cutler had he decided not to take tires, but he'll be pleased with that result. Third place for him. Leo Mora, the first place driver in the amateur category. Coming through Blanchimont now. There it is, Leo Mora crossing the line. First place in his category, Dominic Chimont in fourth place in his category. Laszlo Toth will cross the line in second place for their category. Laszlo Toth takes home second place. Wilson Ho bring home fifth place. Corey McNulty in sixth place as he approaches the chicane now. And then Balwea Isho will be the last driver to cross the line. He will claim third place, a podium result for him as he crosses the line in third in the Pro-Am category. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in It's been a pleasure to be your host. I am the Real High, aka Sagar Bakshi. It's been a pleasure to be your commentator tonight for the Pro-Am Racing Challenge, sponsored by FAF for the Love of the Road and Six Sigma Sim Racing. Thank you very much for your sponsorship and keeping the lights on here at the Omega Sim Racing channel. And join us every Tuesday evening for practice at 6:40 p.m., qualifying at 7:40 p.m., and the race start at 8 p.m., all times in Eastern Standard Time. 45-minute race, 1 mandatory pit stop for all the drivers. We got 2 categories, and teams of 3 drivers are allowed. We've been to Zolder, the Nordschleife, Silverstone, Bathurst, Spa-Francorchamps. Next week, we will be driving at Watkins Glen. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It's been a pleasure, as always. Catch you next week, same time, same place. And as always, make sure you stay safe out there.